Read my eyes, do I want to stay? If you thought you weren't made that way, it's the choice.
Hello tubers, welcome back. Sorry it's been a little while between the last upload and this one. I'm going to build the holiday buggy. Now I brought this just before Christmas 2019 with intentions of building it for a Christmas Day upload, you know, for you guys to sit back and enjoy. You know, holiday buggy. What better time to build one? Now, I expect, like many of you, for me, this was, well, for all of us as kids, especially of our age, you open up the old TAMIYA catalogue and you, what I want. And this is no exception. I'm sure for most of you, we probably all wanted the expensive kits as well. But this was one of those kits that perhaps, like me, you wanted. So I'm finally getting it built, or finally got around to buying it to get it built for the channel. Let's take a look at what you get inside the box and then fire away and get her built. Right then, let's take a look at what's in that box. Just before we do, I always love the box art of these, they're fantastic. As you can see, it's the 2010 re-release kit. Now, straight away you get to see the body. It's pre-painted or pre-coloured, if you will. So it does take a lot of the skill level away. So you could give this to a child, theoretically, and they won't have to. You won't come home and find your walls have all been spray painted. Now there's a lot of body extras on this one. We've got a couple of fuel cans. We've obviously got some spotlights. I believe these go on the roof and have the bright light stickers written on. Possibly the roof canopy. We've got the driver. Oh, and in this case, this is, I mean, I'm not a Tamiya expert by any means, but that's a first. I've not seen them come with tyres and rims pre-assembled. Front and backs, oh, they have gone a bit grey, them ones. Right, it's a bathtub style chassis, so that's all pre-formed. Very easy and very fast. There's a bit of flexibility in these, but they do get a bit more rigid with the body sat on top. Again, maybe some suspension parts there, especially these bits maybe. It's all guesswork at the moment. I've not actually built one of these. I'll tell you straight off the back though, this normally comes in a box. Let me just show you what I mean by that. Sitting in a corner of all the kits that I've built to date is normally a box like that, and you have all the gears, perhaps even the motor and ESC put in there. Actually, you might not get the electronic speed controller in that. That probably does come in its own little cellophane bag. So inside here we've got all the gears, the servo components, some more suspension bits, and of course all your bag of screws, your bushers. Although I do believe I have got a ball bearing racer kit already, because I think 4 or 5 kits all share like the same Pacific spoilers, bearings, so they all require 4 of these 1110s, I think they are, and 1 of the 550s or 850s or something like that. So I should take a quick look, and if it is so, I have got a spare one of them which I brought for another kit, but as I'm building this I might as well put the ball bearing racers in if I've got them and just reorder. Looks like we've got some suspension arms. We've got the electronic speed controller, pretty standard. This will run LiPos, but I find that the low voltage detection on these is set rather high. Again, we've got some suspension mounts. You know what I imagine we're going to screw on the top of there. We've got the drive housing, or your gearbox if you will. What have we got here? We've got your steering knuckles. We've got some more. Oh, there's your drive shafts, your drive cups. 3 have already come loose. Oh, maybe it's got dual suspension arms. That'd be good if it has. Makes it a little bit more sturdy. And of course, oh, that's lovely, isn't it? I don't know if you can see the Tamiya, that might be back to the front. There you go, look at that. That's nicely printed, or made rather. And then, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting this. I know in the picture you see the guy all painted up. You see him? He's got a lovely blue t-shirt on, a crazy smile, and he's a cowboy hat. But we'll give him some eyeball colours and maybe even give him a moustache. Yeah, brilliant. And of course, no retro kit would be complete without a retro-fitted antenna. We've got the normal Tamiya printed stuff. The instruction manual. We'll leave that to one side because I'm gonna get building this straight away. And we've got the old Tamiya stickers for it. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's even quite good. I've not seen one of these personally in the flesh before, so I didn't realise it came with that. I do. Is this? Yes, it does look like it, that you don't have to cut these stickers out, so the skill level's really down. Just quickly before I start putting this kit together, make sure you obviously have this at your side. It's no fun guessing where the parts go. I will leave this bag out permanently because if it's anything like the other kits, all of those screws are going to be needed to start with. But you will need yourself a very basic toolkit to assemble most of these RC vehicles. With this, I no doubt probably need one little hex key or Allen key and one decent screwdriver. Now I will throw this away at the end of this build or give it to a friend because this has probably seen somewhere in the region of around 1,500, 2,000 screw heads, and it's starting to, well, it's very worn. And I would rather wear one of these out to this point and throw it than round up a screw head. So bear that in mind. It's not a bad little tip. These are 5 or 6 quid or half an hour trying to get a screw out that you can't access properly because it's recessed, or end up cracking a bit of the body because you've got to take something back off and you've rounded it up. There's no point. Think sensible, replace that. Let's leave that out. You will also need a pair of pliers sometimes, a pair of cutters, and something similar to that or that. I prefer to use these most of the time. These are okay, but they're quite big and bulky, they're quite thick, and you can't always get in all the recesses. But I've got many options to suit the needs of the RC I'm working on. Right, let's get that time-lapse build underway.
the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red, conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red line.
Right then, Tubers, I've just interrupted the time-lapse build there while I'm building it. I don't know if you've noticed that I've not done the electrics according to the instruction manuals say so. I've done that a couple of stages later because I like to take a little bit of time once everything's there in the chassis, the bathtub chassis, and route it better than what I would have done if I'd just rushed it in the previous stage. So I like to install that majority of the time last. Unlike the servo that has to go in at that particular moment in time, the other bits of the electrics don't necessarily have to. Now, I stopped the video because I think it's a very important thing and a good tip. I'll bring you in close and point you the right way. I'm going to show you something. Right then, guys. At this point, we're going to test the electrics. And some of you guys would be so tempted to give that old trigger a damn good squeeze to make sure it all works. No, don't. I want you to test the steering. You can see that works. Now, what I want you to do, as long as you've got the ability on your controller, is just ease the throttle on with this adjustment. Just leave it run for a couple of minutes in that direction. I won't bore you. I'll bring it back when I've given it 2 minutes. Right then, you might have noticed it was going a little bit faster than it was when we left the video. Now at this point, let's set it to go backwards. Now the purpose of it being faster when you came back is because during that 2 minutes, I just upped the tempo, if you will, ever so slightly. 20 seconds later, after I said bye to you guys, I just upped the speed slightly. And then about another half a minute later, I upped it a little bit more. At no point have I full throttled it in forwards. And I won't do that with the backwards. Now, you might be wondering why I've stopped the video to tell you this. Now, this will help the differential grease we've put inside. So it'll help all the grease that's in the diff housing. It'll help all the grease that's on the spur gear, the pinion gear, all inside there. All the grease that you put on your rear stub axles. All the grease is going to have had a chance to have spread and give it the maximum protection that the insides require. Right, let's bring you back when that's finished. That's had a couple of minutes in both directions. Now, when we take it out for a test drive later, the grease is worked in where it wants to be. Because let's be fair, one of the first things any hobby owner or RC owner in the hobby wants to do is hit that fun trigger. And of course, likewise, I've been guilty over that over the years, and it doesn't do it any good. And it does, honestly, believe me, it will shorten the lifespan of the internal components.
I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red.
It's been a little while since I started this and finished it. I've been looking and looking, as you can see, for one sticker on the headlight. It fell down the back of my worktop and I finally found it this morning. But anyway, I'm dead chuffed with it. I'm going to bring you in and we're going to have a little look round it. The only thing you won't see in the time-lapse build is obviously the ending of the stickers and the painting of the roof and the back of the lights. And one little bracket just in there, which I didn't realise at the time, was for the rear body mounting. It was much further on, after the stickers perhaps in the instruction manual. Let's bring you in. Right, as you can see, quite simple to pop the body off. Remove two RC clips there, another clip there. As you can see, I've painted the rear in black because I just think it looks better. I was going to paint the orange. I was going to paint the roof orange, but decided against it at the last knockings. Also, there's this tag just there. Quite simple. Just push that back, and the body goes. You can see, I've even painted the jerry cans up nicely and banded them. Got a little bit of wear marks on the edges. Some of that's from my days of modelling with Hornby. A bit of weathering. Alright, as you can see inside, I can't remember if I've got some power, yeah. There we go. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Just had the controller going slightly. There we go. Probably be a lot more pokier with a fresh battery. As you can see, this was the extra bracket that I hadn't done in the time-lapse build. I'll get that sticker on shortly. I've even dressed the tyre walls. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. It's lovely. It takes regular NIM batteries. Let's find out if it can take a LiPo. Right then, this is just a standard Ecology 2S pack. Let's find out. I don't actually know. Oh, or force anything. Is that the sticker? Yeah. Just the there we go. The cables are not always pretty on. Just not gonna go. But you could make a little extension for that, so you could secure that down. So I reckon, yes, we could run this on LiPo, but equally, I don't know, some of you guys do this. You can get yourself a tiny little 2S. In fact, this might even be 3S, this one. Yeah. I know a standard 3S pack won't go in it from somewhere else. There we go. Ignore the fact that the cables are different, or the connectors are different rather. So there we go. Just to talk you through the model a little bit, it doesn't come with oil dampened shocks. It is just rear wheel drive. I've got the bearing kit on this, and there's a lot of play. The bearings might as well not be there. I should have probably I've just put the nylon ones in. The rear ones are a lot better. But overall, this has been a very easy kit to make. I would recommend it for many children for their first kit into the adult's hobby. Because let's be fair, this is an adult's hobby these days. I don't mind admitting to being a big kid. Well then, that was the holiday buggy. Out of 10, ease of building, I suppose maybe a 5. 10 being really extremely difficult. There wasn't anything on this what was too complicated. I mean, again, the fact that you have to cut the stickers just edges it up, but it's a very basic build. Like I say, nothing too... I'm trying to just think back. It's been probably about 2 months since I built the chassis of it. As I said, you know, I lost that sticker and really wanted to find it, and I tried to find somewhere on eBay sticker sheets, but I wasn't going to pay £15 for one single sticker, and eventually found it this morning, so I've been able to finish it. But there was nothing really, I mean, okay, I've, you know, highlighted the wheels and stuff like that, but you don't have to do that as the basic kit. So yeah, definitely a 5 for overall build. How impressed am I? Well, I love RC cars, so it's impressive no matter what. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. Maybe not for my second, third, fourth RC. Definitely one of your first RCs. Very first kit maybe to build for some. Maybe something like the Frog and the Hornet. You know, before you jump into something a bit more complicated with 4-wheel drive. Definitely. Is it Dark Impact again? That they use this chassis. Is it a DF chassis? Maybe something like that. They use this in many different versions with different bodies and whatnot. You can get something like this for your first. Brilliant. Right then, as you can see, I've detailed it quite nicely. The white on the wheels and all of that. Yeah, I've enjoyed this one. It's an iconic little buggy. Gonna have a little bit of a clip of it driving round in a second. But we're in lockdown here in the UK at the moment, so it won't be great footage. It'll just be where I can get a couple of minutes somewhere without breaking too many of our lockdown rules. Anyway, if you're enjoying these builds, these build watches, I've got a couple of kits more up there and a load of kits down there. And the very next build is going to be a... Don't forget to subscribe here and watch one of our other videos here. Till next time.